purely it. If I wasn't able to read the signs, then I would be like those people that just think that life is mundane and that nothing special happens. There's randomness, and we just basically live and we die, essentially. But I really am trying to embody this whole from mundane to magic aspect. How can we make our everyday life, whether it's work, whether it's our children, whether it's eating food, whether it's going to sleep, how can we turn those into magical occasions, magical events? Because once we start doing that, we're now tapping into our true divinity. Anything before then is essentially you not really living in your divine moment. You're not living in your divine self. And so this video is not just another video on synchronicity. It's actually a video on how to live in synchronicity with your life, how to be soul aligned, how to read the signs to understand and have a communication with your divine self, with your higher self, with the Most High, with God, whichever name you want to use, creator, source, whatever. How do we build that one-to-one relationship? Well, we can only build that one-to-one relationship by establishing meaningful connections. And at some point, the onus becomes on us. We have to meet the divine halfway. Yes, the universe is a mirror. Yes, the universe is relational, but that means you have to do your 50%. You have to do your half. And trust me when I say this, if you do your half, the divine, the universe, whichever name you want to use, will pay it forward tenfold. And you don't have to go far to see it. You don't have to go far to see it. You could learn the basics and that would be enough. So obviously I'm extra, we go advanced, we go deep, we leave no stone unturned. But I'm not saying that those things, you have to get to that stage in order for you to see the magic. It's just that essentially I myself am looking to charter unknown territories. And in order for me to chart unknown territories, I need to do things that I don't believe has been done before, or at least things that are not in my state of awareness, and allow that chaos to unfold, allow those moments to unfold. And then it's just up to me to be ready for it. It's just up to you to be ready for it. Like, you take heed of the signs, but are you taking, so you may, decipher the signs, you may get those synchronicity moments, but do you have the courage? Do you have the will? Do you have the skill to be able to not just act on it, but tap into that moment of time with abundance? And so that's what today's going to be about. We're not teaching, we're not basically going to be showing you why synchronicity works in terms of like, is synchronicity real? This is a video for people that already understand that synchronicity is just a part of the magic, just a part of the gift of connecting, a way to connect. There will be some kind of like, I will be in the first part of the video doing some theory just to give you my view, because obviously, I don't know what you've watched before. You may have missed some things, but I've got some absolute gems, I believe, in terms of what I think people are overlooking, even when they understand that the world is synchronistic. So, if you're on this channel, we are completely biased towards oneness. We're completely biased towards the monad. We're completely biased towards nothingness, even. So we understand that separation is an illusion. But we understand the beauty of separation. We understand why the universe chose to separate and make things look like they were distinct. Because without that, how could we be unique and express any aspects of uniqueness? And so, as I was saying last week, the original sin is not to be original, essentially. And when we mean original, it doesn't mean you try to do things to be different just for the sake of it. It's more about just embracing and tapping into your divinity unashamedly, unapologetically, with vitality, with confidence, with power. So once we're able to do that, what more is there? Then you just allow life to life. And the synchronicities will be a reflection that you are tapped in. It's not necessarily a reflection that you're doing the right thing, because often you'll see the signs, you'll read the signs, but you may interpret them wrong. You may have seen it one way, like I'll show you today, like how I'll show you a live example of me catching a synchronicity, seeing it, but there was one deviation or one thing that I didn't understand, but then life and it showed me what it really meant. But again, because I was receptive to it, because I was open-minded to allow life to life. This is the problem that I have with most people that are into like divination or like divination in particular, or even just like symbolism, is that they don't allow the symbols to express themselves. Think about how multidimensional you are. Think about how many layers you have. Think about how many characteristics you have. And for some reason, we think that us reading one word or a sentence or maybe even a page about a particular number, about a particular symbol, is enough. So I'm basically saying that everything is alive. Everything is alive. And so if everything is alive, then there is not the creator and created. There is only creation. And that creation happens in the now, in the moment. And so once you tap into that, you can then tap into transformation, transcendence, the relaxation of ego. So we're not doing synchronicity just for synchronicity's sake. Like, this channel is very, very, very purpose-led. And very, very purpose-led. If it's not leading to my deepening of oneness in 2025, I'm not interested. If it's not deepening my ability to tap into presence, to tap into my magic, to tap into some of the gifts that were given or that I believe I've been able to access, then I'm not really interested. So this is not for everybody. Now, obviously you can do what you want in life. This is not like you have to live like this. But, you know, the passion comes from me seeing how magical my life is. And I'm one of the most normal people. I'm just as normal as it gets. It's just that I've cultivated certain a perspective that allows me to see things differently. That's all it is. I'm experiencing the same things as everybody else. There's nothing really that I'm doing that I'm not seeing the same as everybody else. I'm seeing the same things. I'm going out to the street, I'm with people, I'm eating food, I'm doing the same things. We breathe the same air. The sun has no discrimination in terms of who gets the light, unless you are what? Caught in a shadow. And that catching in a shadow is the ego self. That's you not understanding the rhythm. That's not you understanding the timing. You have more ability than a tree in terms of being a fixture. You know, there are trees that walk, by the way. I saw a documentary on that, walking trees. That was crazy. But yeah, outside of that, we have the ability to move. So that basically means that we can work with time, because time quote unquote moves, although we know it's an illusion. It has the, you know, it has the ability to move, motion, essentially. And motion isn't, you know, motion is real, as I'll show today. So that was kind of like the introduction, just like the warm-up. That was just straight from the heart. I've never read any of my notes. But yeah, so today what we're going to be doing is we're going to be breaking down synchronicity from 4 layers. One, I'm going to go into a little bit, like I said, about the theory and just my perspective. I'm not going to go into all the perspective, but just my specific inklings around how I think the divinist synchronicity works and why it's so powerful and why most people are still underutilizing it. Then I'm going to break down the divine communication between, like, how to read the signs, essentially. But because I've touched on this before, I'm going to make a different point. I'm going to make a much more important point, I believe, which sometimes I feel like can get lost in the theory of us trying to understand what a circle means, a triangle means, what the number 1 means, the letter A of whatever. You know, I want to make it loud and clear today what we're actually doing, why we're actually doing these things. This is just, you know, if that's the one takeaway. Peace, Lord Harris. Peace, Mumsy in the building. Yeah, Mum's in the building. It's gonna be live. Mum's in the building. It's gonna be live. So yeah, boom. It's already set. It's already set. So, and then I'm gonna go into, I've got takeaways. I'm not sure how far I'll be able to get into the takeaways, because literally I've created a workbook on synchronicity about 6 months ago that I completely forgot about. I actually forgot I created it. This is a 12,000 page document. So not 12,000 page, a 12,000 word document. Me and ChatGPT for 1 or 2 days, I was just going in, just and create this 12,000 word document, which is a workbook on how to live synchronistically. I've never released it. I've never showed it. I've never even mentioned it to anyone. This is like the first time I'm even mentioning it. But I was just reviewing it today. I was like, rah. It's a level. It's a level, but quite honestly, like, my students get that, you know. That's what my students get. Because, like I said, I'm extra. It's just me. I'm extra. I'm gonna go to places where most people are not gonna go, and they're gonna call me extra. I get called extra. Like, why are you guys so deep for? Why not? The universe is deep. The universe is just full of deepness, to be honest. And I just enjoy peeling back its layers. Wow. I'm just like kid in a candy store. It's almost like Parcel. If you ever play Parcel, where they've actually got many wrappings. They've got many wrappings on Parcel, and I get it. It's like, right, it's my turn. And you start to feel it, you start to see the color, you know, you start to see the color start busting out. And then you're like, aha, boom, here's the present, here's the gift. So, and life basically for me should be about full of surprises. My favorite thing in life, I said it was awe the other day, but awe comes from the thing that comes before the awe, because awe is like a feeling, is the surprise. That's what I tap into. My search to know thyself is because I'm obsessed in the mystery of self, because the more I peel back, the more it reveals, the more it gives, the more gifts I receive. And so, yeah, like I said, at some points in this video, I'm going to receive a couple of gifts. We're also going to be doing things real time. So that's why I said this is like more of like a show, especially, let's say, half and half. Let's just say there's a telling obviously at the beginning, but then there's a showing as well. So yeah, without further ado, I'm going to get out my slides, and then yeah, let's crack this party. All right, so the key is relevance and realization. We'll just start there. So I'm basically saying that the 2 main cycles of life, or 2 of the main cycles or states where a universe is mental, where the universe is mental, is relevance and realization. So relevance is synchronicity. How can we understand and match with the resonant frequency of a particular number, word, symbol, or event? How do we build a relationship with these things? Once we start to build a relationship with these things, we start to get realizations. And so last week I dropped a heavy bar where I was like, you want to get to the level where there is no thought, there is only realization. I'll say that again. For me, the highest level in a universe that is mental, where know thyself is the main call to action, is a universe or is a state where you have no thoughts. You only have realization, which comes from source, which is beyond words. This is the absolute key. It is beyond words. Anytime you have to use a word, anytime you have to use a number, anytime you have to use a symbol, you are losing information. There is an information loss there. The map is not the territory. Think about it. With a word, they say you have to describe something. Anytime you use the word describe, anytime you use the word de, that means taken away. So scribe, someone that writes something down. So we've lost the information. We're writing it down, but we're describing something, but there is a loss. In that word de, there is a loss of information. Yeah. Deconstruct. To draw. When we're saying to draw, that still has the letter D, and that D is that's a pulling away from. We're getting straight into the metaphysics straight, but you're pulling away from something, which is the source. So I'm basically saying life is art. What we're essentially saying is life is art. So that's why we've called it, obviously, Master the Art of Synchronicity, because we understand that we can only tap into the world from that place of stillness or that place of excitation. That place of stillness, that 0 point, that negative space, that pure potential, that ether. Although you could say ether is not necessarily it, but you know, that point of stillness, essentially. That is the place that I'm encouraging people to draw from, not from their monkey mind. Because if you draw from your monkey mind, you're going to basically just continue the delusion. You're going to continue the delusion where you basically just make up meanings about what numbers are based on your logic. Because your monkey mind can only really follow logic. Even if it's chaotic, there's still a logic to it. But I'm talking about when you tap into synchronicities, things happen that you almost can't explain. And whatever words you use, most people will know that their most spiritual experiences are the hardest ones to explain. Maybe they've tried to explain it 30 times because it was just so mind-bending that they have got better. But then that just becomes a craft. That's just wordcraft. So they've just become better through time, a better way to explain words. What do we call those people? We call them poets. Still art. We're explaining the experience. So one of the things that I feel, especially in my early days when I first built the course, so I built the course on like how to decode the universe, and I built it on words, numbers, and symbols. But I'd have to listen back, but I'm not sure if I emphasized I definitely never emphasized it as strongly as I am now, because I'm a different person. 18 months ago is 18 months ago. I never really fully emphasized, or maybe I didn't never fully understood it, or just, again, these things are tweaks. These tweaks are enough to get you from realization to whatever the opposite of that is, delusion, a continuation of delusion. And so what I'm basically saying is that I'm dropping a gem early, it is you that empowers and charges the symbol through your attention. We live in a universe, we live in a relational universe where your attention will change the thing that you're observing. Like, you're walking down the street, you feel the hairs on your back of your head, you look back, and you look back exactly in that direction that person is looking at you in. So we're saying that that is what synchronicity is, the true skill that you tap into once you master synchronicity is the ability to be resonant with the moment. So someone put their attention on me, maybe they gave you a hard gaze, a hard stare, and you felt the hairs on the back of your head, because hairs are an antenna. Your hairs are an antenna. They're a receiver, they're a radio receiver. So essentially channeling, you're essentially doing a form of channeling. All telepathy is a form of channeling, is a form of fine-tuning yourself into frequencies, a resonant frequency that allows you to receive the signal. So we're not doing synchronicity to sound cool, or we're not learning numbers to sound cool because, we just want to sound deep and like metaphysical. Like, no, that's not what it's about. It's about the fact that the universe is relational. So then what must we do? We must build relationships. And how we build relationships is through meaningful connections. If you have a partner, you want to build a meaningful connection with them because you want it to be real. So without meaning connections, there is almost no reality. There is no life. That relationship is dead. How do I build a meaningful connection? I try to stay as true to myself and that person. That truth is the equalizer. But sometimes my truth is not your truth. And so we have to split. My truth has just grown to a different level. It's not a better level. It's not a higher level. It's not a lower level. Again, our souls are beyond space and time. So this idea of up, down, again, is just a symbol. Every single word you ever speak is a symbol. It is not the true you. It is not the true you. There are no symbols, no numbers, no words that are the 100% true you. The true you, just to be clear, is closer to silence. It would be more in silence because it's downloading and it's at peace. Why would it need to talk so much for? It's at rest. It's at rest and it's comfortable in that rest. So why would it need to be so why would we need to speak so much? We obviously have personality types. I'm not saying like we can't speak, like we shouldn't speak. Like, I'm a speaker, like I'm a speaker. Look what I'm doing. I'm speaking. But that appreciation of peace, that appreciation of rest is never lost on me. Oh yeah, the pyramids. Yeah. Why not, man? Why not? The pyramids, gold-plated pyramids. Yeah, why not, man? Have some fun in life. This is my expression. create my own t-shirts. It's just my expression. We're just having fun. So my first ever framework I ever built was called Matter Hermetics. And it's a breakdown of 3 words: Ma'at, Hermes, and ethics. And if you understand where ethics is as well, that is also a goddess. Ethics comes from a goddess that is also rooted in a goddess as well. So Matter Hermetics is obviously maths. So that is my interpretation of mathematics. And so yeah, we're just representing it with the deities. But until you realize, look, we just have to rip the band-aid off pretty early in this video. Until you realize that you are a deity, you're always going to be stuck under something. You're always going to be ruled by something. The co-creation one is just because the universe is relational. But as the I am, or that stillness point, we all come from that place of stillness. We all come from that oneness. And so we must all be deities. There is no need to exalt. This is what my main key theme for today. Like you can go after this. There is no need, and we shouldn't. And I actually do say idol worshipping is a sin. Because if you idol worship something, you've placed something above you. You've broken the Shahada. There is no God but God. You have broken the first rule in Islam, I, self, Lord, and master. You've broken the first rule, which is you've created a separation. So you are now a what? A devil, a divider, and a conqueror. If everything was one, then there would be nothing to conquer. Think about it. That there would be nothing to conquer. This game theory, I don't really want to go into it, but like, there's a whole science behind game theory where basically you just treat life as a game. Yeah, those are the dividers. Those are the dividers and conquerors. They treat life like a game where there's winners and losers, and essentially game theory is how to game the system so you can always win. And so, yeah, okay, cool. If you're going to live in separation, you might as well live in the, you might as well try and go for the W. But I'm saying it's a false game. There's better games. There's infinite games. There's infinite games to play. So you have to realize, you have to recognize, what are you doing out here? Are we playing the infinite game or are we playing the finite one? Because they're two, separate ball games. When we talk about liberation, that is liberating yourself from the finite games. All right, let's read the chat for a sec. Had this very exact conversation a few moments ago. So you're tapped in then, yeah? Yeah, you're tapped in. Today, yeah, today. Anytime you use the word day, I had that as well. I had that somewhere. I'm not even looking at my notes. Like literally, I'm still freestyling at the moment. I'm still not looking at my notes, in fairness. I didn't change that, but I'm back. Yeah, I've not looked at my notes so far. So, yeah, let's get to some notes, man. Let's get to some notes. I actually did prepare so many notes today, so let's just have a look. See. Yeah, we're done past that. Yeah, I've already done. Yeah, we're already way past that. Yeah, this basically just started with me saying this video is not to convince you of what synchronicity is or whether it exists. Yeah. So the only science, so the science to explain why synchronicity works is because of there's many names for it, by the way. There's many names, just to be clear. But one of my favorite names is the morphogenetic field. This is like the web. This is like the universe is basically like a web. Essentially, think about it as just one big spider web. Always looking for a prop. Yeah, the universe is one big web. So, or you could just look at it as matter is frozen ether or frozen spirit. Yeah. So we're just going to assume that the air is gaseous, and then the more it condenses into this physical reality, the more denser it gets. And that density, from a water perspective, when we understand the waters of Nun, we understand the density, or we understand how you would freeze water. You would freeze it by freezing something. Sorry, you would freeze it, and then it would turn into ice. So that gas then becomes water, then becomes ice. And so I'm saying that matter is frozen light. So in that freezing of the light, it then becomes a solid state, like a hard drive, a solid state. That solid state is one. It was always one. It was one when it was in the water. It would be akin to think. Imagine if we saw the air that touches the water, and then we saw ice cubes in the water, and we thought that they were different. That's essentially the insanity of humanity, or the insanity of our eyes, is that our eyes are seeing things as separate when it's all the same. The ice floating in the water is made of the same substrate. And so we are all made of the same substrate at its, in terms of our primal energies, our primal nature. And so we don't need to wait for light. So you've been basically taught that light needs to travel. 1 second, 2 seconds, 3 seconds, 4 seconds, 5 seconds. Light doesn't travel, bro. If I move this here, it will affect the whole ether. So if I wanted to move this here, I would just need to shake. That is me being something called a standing wave. Like a drop in the ocean. Boop. I've now made an eruption, and it reverberates throughout the whole universe. Bang. It then calls this thing that I choose to call through my focused attention. And now I'm in resonance with it. Or I could be in resonance because, you can call something, but you don't speak its language. This is what synchronicity is. So the reason why I'm so painstaking on words, numbers, and symbols and understanding events is because I understand language. And if you don't call me by my name, you don't get close to my name. I'm not going to answer. It's not that I'm rude. It's not that I don't like you. It's not personal. If you know somebody's name, you can control them. Absolutely. Our finite mind can't comprehend. So absolutely. So yeah, we need to understand the different minds that we have. Just like they say, you've got a gut brain, you've got a heart brain, you've got your 3 brains. There's layers to that mind as well. Like obviously, when we're talking about mind, we're not talking about brain. The mind, the brain can't comprehend. We don't need to make the brain comprehend. If it does, that's like a bonus. That's pretty decent, but again, that just may feed the ego. So it depends on what you do with that knowledge. All knowledge is information. It's how you apply that knowledge, which obviously is where the power is. But consciousness is to be experienced, or consciousness is an experience. That awareness is an experience. So yeah, it's our minds can't comprehend, but I would say it's more our brains can't comprehend. Our minds don't need to comprehend. Its job is not to comprehend. Its job is to experience. And then if we so choose, because we want to share or we want to relate it to ourselves, we want to remind ourselves, then we engage the brain. If we want to break, but then the minute we engage the brain, we break out of that cycle. We break out of that flow. That's fine. We don't need to be in flow states all the time, you know. Let's try and get to levels where we can tap into that flow state. I tapped into it today in one breath for the first time ever. Yo. That was mad. That was mad. One breath. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. You know, like center yourself. Like I have certain sacred codes, you know, that allow me to tap in deep. And yeah, I'm gassing. I couldn't believe it. I tapped into it in one breath. Yeah. Incredible. Incredible. Like, yeah, so these are synchronicity is my bag. Essentially what I'm basically teaching from. So this isn't a lecture that I've had to study to understand how synchronicity works. There might be 3 things, maybe 2 to 3 things that I would say is my bag or my zone of genius, and synchronicity is one of them. Just, it is what it is. You know, that's just what it is. I live and breathe this stuff. Live and breathe this stuff. I enjoy turning off the switch sometimes because, yeah, why not? I do like turning the switch off, but essentially, not always. Not always. Oh, man. All right, I'm going to break the flow for a second. Apologies, guys. Actually, I really want to do something. I really want to do something. No, I'm not going to break the flow. All right, cool. I'm not going to break the flow. All right, cool. So, yeah. Presence and attention. Essentially, your presence, attention, and we're saying that your attention is not passive. Let's read from my notes now. Your attention is not passive. So innocence is no excuse in front of the law. Innocence is no excuse. And so then that means that attention becomes a moral act. But the key thing in that is attention is not passive. The minute you look at something, you affect that thing. You have an opportunity to be in resonance with it. And through the intensity of our focus, that's how we get it. So let me share my screen for a second. All right, cool. There you go. Finally. All right, cool. Finally, here it is. Notice. First word. Peace, peace, Lord Harris. Peace, peace. Thank you for your patience, everyone. Yeah, so notice. Look at that word notice. So I'm basically saying, so look at the flow. Presence, attention. Attention is not passive. Innocence is no excuse. Attention is a moral act. So then the key word here is notice, not ice. Because we're understanding that the ether, the universe, is a super fluid, but it condenses itself into ice through our focus. So our focus hardens matter, creating a resonance, creating a wave, creating a shake. So yeah, I just thought that word notice was quite interesting. And so yeah, this is basically just some bars. Basically, I wrote these bars like freestyle. I kind of wanted to just give people, as usual, that overall perspective, basically. So the eternal presence in the infinite now. So if I was to say what life is right now, I think I had another version as well. It basically says experiencing the eternal presence in the infinite now. So that answers basically these 3 questions. So there's 3 sacred questions that everyone should ask themselves in the journey. Remember, a question is a quest. It takes you on a journey. And so the 3 prime questions are, who am I? Where am I? And why am I here? Who am I? Where am I? And why am I here? And right now I've succinct it into one statement that answers all three. To experience the eternal presence in the infinite now. So I am nothing and I am everything. So need nothing. I am nothing and I am everything. So need nothing. For all is none and none is for all. Like I literally just wrote that today. I had that on my mind for a while. I had a little bit of that on my mind for a while, but just like synchronizing it together. And then I'm saying that basically, so I'm from the UK. So when we were studying religion, they used to use the word called RE. So we used to study this subject called RE, religious education. And I'm saying obviously religion, we're not using that as a bad word here. We don't use that as a bad or dirty word here. It just simply means to bind back or to realign, depending on how you want to look at it. If you want to go with the etymology or more phonetically. And so I'm basically saying that the study of life is to understand the two positions between rest and excitation. The zero, which is the rest, and the excitation, the I am. The excitation, which is the I am. And I'm saying all of these I ams are expressions. So anything that's, so I am is its pure expression. Any word after that is a subdivision of the I am. So that oneness splitting itself would be the third word in whatever sentence came after or whatever statement came after. I am a leader, for example. Yeah, and then in a universe that is mental, the focused attention is the gold, is gold. Didn't really write that sentence properly, but yeah, in a universe that is mental, the focused attention is gold. And so yeah, master the art of life, master art of synchronicity, because obviously life is art expressed through the musical sphere. So yeah, this was just me calling out certain things. And so this channel, as a reminder, or if you've never heard it before, this channel does one thing, and it's to try and provoke you into your sovereignty. Can I use words? Can I show you examples of how you can tap into your sovereignty as a divine, as a unique expression of the creator? But again, I just use the word creation because art is arting, what life is. And so we don't need to be subject to anything, because if you have a subject, then there's an object. So we don't need to be subject. Think about the word. We don't need to be subject to anything once we tap into our true self. There is no need to worship these deities. That's one of my main bugbears, because it's not even a bugbear. It's just one of the things that will keep you in a lockdown frequency. It will leave your light locked, trapped, if you want to use that word. And so there is no coincidence. You just want to be a co-insider, a co-insider, or whatever. It's making out now. But yeah, you want to be a code. You want to be a code insider. You want to be a co-insider. It means you want to tap into your universal reservoir, essentially first. Tap into your universal reservoir. We don't need to keep on the notes. Like I'll just bring them up when I feel like it. So yeah, you want to tap into your universal reservoir. I'll start another bomb, not even a bomb, but just one of probably my main point that I wanted to say in this conversation for synchronicity is that you have to live life. You have to live life. You have to live life, you have to see life, you have to be life. Synchronicity works best when you're living in that state of awareness, in a high vibrational state of awareness. And I'm only using the word high just from a bird's eye view perspective. And then you're allowing life to unfold itself moment to moment recursively. If you start reading too many books on synchronicity and stuff like that, the trap and the danger becomes that your ego is just proving and trying to validate and justify its own existence. It then starts to exalt certain numbers. I don't necessarily exalt any numbers. I just recognize what certain numbers stories are, and I realize the prominence of them at a time. Like I'm going to show you, like I'm going through the number 16 at the moment. For no reason, the number 16 is just, I won't say for no reason. Like I understand some of its patterns, but the number 17, sorry, the number 16 has just appeared. Like I said, not necessarily out of nowhere, but like this week, the number 16 is just everywhere. Like I can't get away from this number 16. Like I can just show and prove it as well. So now I'm journaling. So the sidebar I was going to talk about later, but the sidebar is that for me, any one of my students, they have to journal because I want to see the records. You know, we want to understand our book of life. We want to be able to read our book of life, or what I'm calling our book of soul. We want to be able to read it and then see the synchronicities, see if we can recognize any patterns that reveal deeper stories and deeper truths. And so just since I've been journaling for the last 2 weeks and going to new levels with my journaling, it's one of the reasons why life is unfolding for me in a particularly magical way right now. Intuition. Synchronicity and intuition go hand in hand, or they should go hand in hand. This is what I mean, just like not being book read, not just doing this from a book read perspective. If you're doing that, like I said, you're missing a trick. So when we're tapping into our intuition, we're drawing from our reservoir. So yes, you can read books, you can build correspondences table. You can be someone like myself. I literally build correspondences tables. But my enjoyment is not in building these tables. It's so I can have these as references. So I can just say to the universe, to source, show me a sign that has been built from my imagination. Show me a sign that's been built from my own reference. Show me a sign which I can actually translate. And because I want to meet the universe halfway, I will record, have in my reservoir, my database, my data bank, the Akashic records. I will be able to draw from. So we've got drawing, which is the symbology, but then we've got the drawing, which means to pull from your essence. I'm going to pull from my essence and pull from something else's essence. Life is art. Drawing. Yeah, the words are there. The etymology of drawing is to pull. It actually was not about the art. It's more about to pull when you're using that word. And so we're going to draw from the reservoirs. We're going to draw from the ethers, or our reservoirs, which I'll just call intuition or insight. You know, any word that has the word in. Yeah, I thought I was way more prepared today. And I really was, because these were my actual notes that look nice. But yeah, all right, cool. But yeah, I said all that stuff already. So yeah, we're essentially recognizing the first cycles. We're recognizing the first cycles, what we call first order. There's something in science, computer theory, information theory, like all around that kind of stuff, where it's like something called first order principles. So first order principles is essentially is a whole science where people try to understand the cause of something. So again, think about it from a healing perspective. Why doctors, or why Western medicine outside of, you know, your arm being cut off is not really something I go for, is because they don't go to treat the cause. They just treat the symptom. They treat the effect. And so in that way, they're always playing catch up, because they're very rarely getting to the root of the matter. And then there are unintended consequences. So tapping into synchronicity allows you to see the interconnectedness of everything. And hopefully through you seeing the interconnectedness of everything, you have the wisdom to understand where this idea of separation comes from, or where the first cause is. What is the prime cause, the optimal prime? Remember, we spoke about the optimal primes. And so we have to pay attention. So frequency matters, and we have to pay attention to the intensity and the cycles. We have to pay attention to the intensity and the cycles. So there's a pattern recognition going on, but then there's also an intensity. There's also a frequency. Oh, that was it. Yeah, there's a frequency as well. So really, it should be like 3 of them. So in order to recognize the signs, we're looking at for patterns or cycles. We're looking at for intensity, power, and we're looking at for frequency, occurrence. Like, you know, 3's the magic number. Like, I've seen 16s like 10 times this week. I've seen 111. I've seen 3 1s. I've seen 111 maybe like 8 times this week. I don't even know now. Maybe more. Maybe like 8 times this week. Less than a week, I would say. Since, yeah, I think it was like Friday. The 111s just started coming on. Maybe I think my last video I said that was the first day of the 111s. I think my last video was the first day of the 111s. And now these 111s, ever since I mentioned what? Triple darkness. So this is how I know. So this is a classic example of how I know I tapped into something. I've seen the 111s, and if for whatever reason was on my divination reading for that day, my oracle, you know, my oracle spread that I've created, I've related it to triple darkness. Something allowed me to resonate it to triple darkness. And I feel because I was in resonance, I tapped into one of its aspects, and specifically the peeling back of the onion that it wanted me, like it wanted to use my eyes. It needs to live through. The whole point about relation is like they say about gods, like, or deities. If you don't pray to a deity, that deity dies, because no one is feeding it power, because these things are powerless. So how can they really have true power if they need prayers? Think about it. Just think about these things a little bit more logically. Just a little bit more, you know, don't just take things at face value, apologies. You can't just take things at face value, because a face is an image. It's still an image. It's a representation. So yeah, that's how basically, like, I tapped into triple darkness through the 111, and it just wants to reveal more. Just like, yeah, okay, cool. Thank you. Thank you very much for paying attention to me. Thank you very much for seeing an angle and appreciating me in this moment. Let me show you more. Here you go. Yeah, so just in case you wanted to keep notes, boom, I told you I was a bit more organized. Where's my pen, by the way? Anyway, as I say that, I'm like, where's my pen? My laptop. Forced efforts are ego driven. So I've said this already, but a bar I heard today, because again, I built another table of correspondence. Just wanted to get into that flow of correspondence. So I built another table of correspondence that I know is going to be mad powerful at some point. I'm probably not ready to fully use it now, but Quest Eye on everything. Yes. Yes. Yes, Kenny G. All right. Am I saying that right, by the way? Key NG. Call blimey, yeah. Key NG. Akeem Bay. All right, cool. So an unknown picture needs an unknown remedy. Yo, that's a bar. That's a bar. I read that today, this guy, Jan Sholton. You can go Google him. You want to look into the stuff that I'm into at the moment, you can go Google that name. Because if I start doing that, I'll get too passionate, too much of a tangent. An unknown picture needs an unknown remedy. This is about health, by the way. This guy's a health guy. Homeopath, if you know what homeopathy is, deep science. It's an untapped science for a metaphysician. I don't really hear any metaphysicians speak about homeopathy. So it's cool. I'm here. An unknown picture needs an unknown remedy. That's obviously speaking to chaos. That's obviously speaking to the fact that even though the quest is there to know thyself, when we know that, and wise man knows that he's never going to know it all. And through him understanding he never knows it all, he does what? He realizes the moment. He recognizes and realizes the moment. Because he hasn't lost his facilities or his skills or his faculties of wisdom, he's now ready to step into chaos. He's now ready to step into chaos, i.e. that unknown, those unknown charted territories, those unknown waters. So an unknown picture needs an unknown remedy. That's a bar. And we're basically saying that you could just tap into your... One of the things I've learned after building this stuff is just to be patient with it. It's just like real nuanced stuff. I've never heard anyone mention it in terms of synchronicity, but I'm relating synchronicity to patience. And I'm basically saying that you don't need to force, you don't always have to try and force meaning. Just allow these things to express themselves in due course. You're a wise man or a wise person. You're going to be aware. You're going to notice it when it wants to be revealed. It's like you're chasing that girl and she's like, you get a bit too needy. You're just a little bit too needy. Just like, let me breathe, man. Give me some space. Like, you're suffocating me right now. Like, I'm saying that's how these energies work as well. Yeah, they like the attention, but there's a balance to everything. And it's like, these energies are evolving, is what I'm saying. When we're talking about creation, we're talking about evolution. These energies are also evolving. And so you have to allow them to live, which then requires patience and understanding. All right, let me read some chats. Let me cheat some chats. Yep, always more to the story. Okay, seeing the 444s. I've been seeing 222s as well. I've been seeing 222s as well. But yeah, 222s I've been seeing as well. What does that mean to you? Like, yeah, Put it in the chat. What do you think, SP? What do you think 444 and 222 means to you? Because as I said, I can break down dreams. I can break down this stuff. It's kind of child's play to me at this point. But I've already got that skill. So when people are asking me, oh, I had this dream, my first response is almost always, if not always, what did that mean to you? What do you think it means? And then I'll build from there. I'm like a blank canvas. When I hear people talk about dreams, I know I'm going to ask. So I can always give my opinion on what that dream means. But, you know, I'd prefer to hear your perspective and let's build from there. I got into the biggest debate about an argument in their minds about Bible scriptures. Yeah, we're in that time, man. Like, yeah, we're in that time. There is a Christian rise at the moment. I know people have been seeing social media and stuff, but again, I don't know what people are into. But yeah, the spiritual community took an L. I don't even know if anyone is paying attention, but yeah, I saw that the spiritual community took an L and religion won. So Christianity is like peak right now. But I mean, this is not from an ego perspective, but it's just sharpen your sword. Like, yeah, he took the L, man. Like he took the L because I think he spoke about illness. I'm not sure, whatever, but like, just swords weren't sharp. Swords weren't sharp. The Wolf Moon, incredible. I'd love to hear more, man. Like, yeah, I'd love to hear more. The Wolf Moon. Yeah, I was recent. That's quite interesting, actually. Again, synchronicities. For the first time ever, I've known about the Wolf Moon for years, and for the first time ever, I googled why do wolves howl at the moon? Is that a myth? Because obviously I've just heard that in folklore, and you just see it in the mythology. But I actually just googled it. And actually a little bit of research. I didn't spend too long, but like a little 15-20 minutes. Yeah. Iron sharpens iron. So yeah, man. And know that. All right. So intuition and symbolic references. Where are we? Where are we now? Yep. All right, cool. Speaking about intuition again. Yep. I spoke about that already. Yep, spoke about the cosmic glue already. Just, yeah, I wrote cosmic glue here. Boom, boom, boom. Co-create your reality. So this is kind of like the end of the conclusion of the notes for the fairy bit. So now we're actually just going to get into some like real-time science. Co-create your reality with intention and presence. Mastering in synchronicity is the art of mastering self, because all is one. And so all you're doing is just connecting the dots. That's literally just how it ends. So yeah, that's enough of the theory, which is really good. And then now I can actually go into this workbook, which I need to be careful of like what I'm showing. Just because, all right, so we're moving into part 2 of the conversation. And in part 2 of the conversation, I'm basically going to use real-time examples to make my points, essentially. So I'm just going to show and prove how I would build connections, or how I build connections based on me looking at words, numbers, and symbols. And then events as well. So I'm going to share my screen for quite a bit of this. I'm going to share my screen for quite a bit of this. So we're going to start with numbers. And I don't really want to get too much into the science of, again, I want to just get into the real time. I'm just like so excited to just get into the real time stuff. So I've still got like introductory notes and stuff. I've still got introductory notes. All right, cool. Let's bring up some tools. Let's bring up some tools. All right. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you my divination pool yesterday, and I'm going to show you my divination pool today. I'm also going to show you, I'm going to speak about a correspondence table, but I'm going to just show it as well. I'm just going to show you, I don't know, one example. I'll leave it in the chat. Yeah, I'm loving the vibes as well, man. Say it safe, Kenny. Ken, Key NG. Yo, Key. I'm just going to call you Key, bro, if you don't mind. Key NG. I'm just gonna call you Key if you don't mind. But yeah, if you want me to call your full name and keep on butchering it, I think me just calling you Key would be simpler. Because yeah, my eyes are just reading it wrong. So yeah, thank everyone for their patience as always. You know what we're like. Like, this is always a work in progress. And yeah, these videos do go live the next day, but I edit out stuff like this. Like, I don't do heavy editing. But anything, if I take over like a minute, let's say, to pull up a document or stuff, I'll edit that out. The intros are always edited because I'm waiting for people to fill in terms of the chat room as well. So I always edit that out as well. And quite honestly, there is 5 of you as well. So if you lot want a 5-minute break at any point, because you actually do want to get it live, then I'm happy to have a 5-minute break. I'll treat this like a class. Like, so I used to do, before I was ever live on YouTube, I was doing lectures to, you know, friends, families, clients and stuff like that. So obviously we'd have a break, you know, if it was building for long. So again, yeah, if people need a 5 or whatever, then yeah, let me know. All right, cool. So that one's up. And then the final one up is to get this one. Pull this one. But yeah, I'm about to show you something mind-blowing. After I explain this story, I'm gonna explain the story from last week to this week, and it's gonna be an event in my life that actually happened, and I'm gonna show you how it played out in real time with my divination set, which I've created from my own imagination. So you can be like, oh, that can't work. How can someone create their own divination set and then that work? Like, is because I'm showing you the power of you as a creator in this creation. Your ability to create is all I'm really trying to provoke in you guys. So people that, like I said, I want, my ego wants 10 people. It wants 10 people, a double-digit number. 10 people that want to really go deep into this. And we'll go deep. Like, I'm making moves. I've started making moves this week, reaching out to certain people that are gonna help me grow the channel and grow my audience way quicker than me, you know, doing it by myself like this, basically. So yeah, it's about that time. It's about that time. All right, I think it's taken a while just I've got a lot of pages up. I'm guessing I've got like a lot of stuff up, so I think it's just taken a while. Let me get rid of stuff like that. That definitely don't need to be up. That doesn't need to be up. This doesn't really need to be up anymore. Yeah, that don't need to be up. All right, I think my Excel actually crashed. Look, you can see it goes in a circle. I think it's actually crashed. I don't know if it's loading or is it linking. I don't know. It's a deep document. It's a deep document. But yeah, I'll just start with the story anyway. So anyone that was live last week, I hinted basically that I was basically living in flow. And when I meant that I was living in flow, it didn't mean that my life was rosy. Whenever I say I'm living in flow, it doesn't mean that everything in my life is going perfect and that all events are somehow blissful. That's not what I mean when I say that. What I basically mean is that I'm able to stay with the moment and recognize the moment, which is what? Synchronicity. Or that is a part of the synchronicity story. The first part of it is the ability to stay with the moment. And so I would say the last 2 weeks has been my best ever in terms of me being in the present moment, recognizing the signs, and then also understanding the magic and the bigger picture of play, even if the situations weren't themselves quote unquote nice or good or pleasurable. So I'm basically saying that the highest level of spirituality is not joy and bliss. For me, that's the second highest level, and that's a beautiful level if you can experience it. Everyone should experience bliss at least once in their life. I'm saying the level above that is peace. The highest feeling that you can experience in this universe or in this physical body, to our knowledge or to my knowledge, is peace, which is rest, which is equanimity, which is balance, which is ma'at. Basically all the same thing. A place where you're having no loss of energy, which means that the excitation is more of a bliss thing. So the peak of, because I was saying that before, there's only rest, RE, the RE, religious education, the rest and experience, the rest and excitation. And so I'm saying the peak of excitation is bliss, the peak of rest is peace. And I'm saying that peace is a higher vibration than excitation or joy. But again, this is my opinion. There are other books, there's documents as well, and books and stuff like that kind of speak to that. But again, you can believe what you want to believe. You can even just put them on an even pedestal and just say one is as powerful as the zero if you want to. I don't mind. It's your world at the end of the day. So I had this situation last week, and basically someone gets into an altercation where they were unfairly treated. Essentially, it was like a violent altercation that happened for almost like I won't say for no reason. Like obviously there were things that built up to it, but essentially the person that did the violence it was what's the word? It was uncalled for. It was uncalled for, in my opinion. Again, who am I? In my opinion, it was uncalled for. It was uncalled for. Let me just say it. It was uncalled for. I'll just say it like that. Yeah. And this has happened to a good friend of mine, like someone I've known for many, many years, like decades long. I've got grey hairs, decades long. And basically, the situation didn't escalate there, but the potential for it to escalate was a potential. And so I have a conversation with this person the day after the event, and I have what I believe, what I actually called out loud on the video, because I think I just had that conversation. I think I did a video on Sunday where I mentioned it because I was doing divination. It was a video where specifically on divination. So I was talking about, again, these events. I have to talk about events if I'm doing divination, because events is everything. And so the whole point is, I said in that video, I was like, that was the best conversation I've ever had with this person. I've known this person for decades. Because I got them to see a different way. I would say I got them to see a different way. I shared with them an alternative of how they could, quote unquote, retaliate, respond. And it was completely off script. It was completely different to what they could have done. It was completely different. So anyway, what then happened is the situation was precarious, basically. The situation was precarious. And so me and him right now, the relationship's on a knife's edge. It's like, we don't know. Like I actually can't say, because of my, basically, I'll show it in the reading. Let me just show it in the readings. Let me just be easy if I just show you in the readings, because then I can just talk it through as you can look as well. So let me just get it up. 15th, and then today's the 14th. All right, cool. All right, cool. There you are. 14th. There you go. 14th. Let's up that. Let's go to here. Let's go to here. And then let's share the screen here. All right, cool. All right. So my last video, my last 2 videos have been on divination. Or definitely my video that I did on, yeah, nah, yeah, you lot don't need to see that stuff. All right, cool. So my last video that I did was on divination. So on Sunday, I basically break down, I can't remember what the video was about, but like how to do decoding essentially. Like I was basically just showing this. I was doing a live decode. That was it, yeah. I was doing a live decode. Like I was basically explaining what all of this means. So if you want to understand what all of this means on a deeper level, that's the video for it. I don't want to repeat myself. But basically, this is my divination system. This is my oracle system, which is based on 576 oracle cards, similar how to the playing cards would have 52, similar to how the tarot has 78 cards. This is my version. It's got 576 because I've got 13 divination systems combined into one. So when you add up all of those 13 divination systems, it equals 576, which is basically a 24 times 24 matrix, essentially. And so I throw these dice that basically give me these 2 cards. Now, what was interesting about yesterday, because this is yesterday. So what was interesting about yesterday is that I got a phone call from someone that I've known for years that I've spoken to a few times. Like the first time we ever spoke, like this was just someone that I know through somebody else, but they're spiritual and like I follow them online. It's like one of the only people that I know online that has actually, like, you know, got followers and stuff like that. I don't really know that many people. I'm a bit of a hermit, like I said. So, but I know him. The first time I ever speak to him, we have a 3-hour conversation. The first time we ever speak, we have a 3-hour conversation. And he basically wants to meet me because he wants to build with me. He wants to build something with me. I can't go into it because it's like, I can't go into it. It's like NDA stuff, whatever. Like obviously I own businesses. I own, you know, I'm business minded. I'm a business consultant. So if you want, you've got a business idea, you can come to me. So he's got something that is sacred and something that is potentially excitingly, life-changingly, or just exciting. It's just incredible. It's just incredible to hear and listen to this opportunity. So I've pulled this deck knowing this meeting is going to happen. And I've called, and then this is, so bro mine is an element. And I've called it, oh, the brother. I've called it like bro mine, my brother. So I've related it to brother. I'm going to meet someone. I'm going to meet. So I'm thinking it's this meeting because obviously I've already got this meeting set up. So you hear me, I actually I've got my own journal. So you hear it in my journal, I'm like, oh, I'm going to meet this person. That meeting gets cancelled first thing this morning. It's kind of hazy. My memory's kind of hazy. I can't remember if the meeting got cancelled and then I pulled this or it was the other way around. I can't remember which way around it happened. But basically, I have a conversation. So the meeting gets cancelled. So I go to bed and my day is thinking, oh, I'm excited for this meeting, this opportunity, this meeting. I think I wake up and the meeting gets cancelled straight away. Then I do the pull. I think that's the way it went. And then when I do the pull, I get the bro mind. So I was like, oh, maybe I was actually just, oh yeah, that was it. Yeah, because I was thinking maybe this is just relating to that meeting and maybe this isn't in time. Maybe this is not about today. This is just speaking about, you know, just me capturing that moment of maybe the yesterday or whatever. Because again, the time is a bit lucid with these things. But my whole point is to put things in perspective. The last time I fell out with a friend was 20 years ago, to put things in perspective. That's how like not often these things happen with me. Like, I'm not really someone to just argue, or like, I don't know. I'm not sure why you would argue for. I don't know what is there to disagree with, to be honest. But this is the first time I've fallen out with someone for 20 years. And that time was my fault. Like, no ifs or buts. Like, you know, I was young and stupid at the time. My ego got the best of me. Let's put it that way. So this is a rare occurrence. And I've read this as bro mine. We've fallen out and then we've got the splitting apart. He basically felt that I didn't assist him. Ah, well. Catherine is in the building. Wagwan, cuz. Basically, we're speaking about resonance. Look, we will do it now. We're doing it right now. 9 p.m. Yeah, 9. We'll do it right now. Catherine was with me on the day where I experienced synchronicity in 5D for like 6 hours, like 18 hours in a row. These events, like for the whole day I was seeing it. It was so crazy that I was calling the future. Catherine was there. I was calling the future. I did like 3 times. I was like, this is gonna happen. Boom, it happened. Like these rare, because I was just seeing these patterns. I was just so in tune with the moment. Like, this was like my most mind-blowing day ever. And that's what I'm trying to say, like, in terms of like people not really realizing how powerful synchronicity can be. When they can, that ability to read that signs, those abilities to almost like prophesize, like literally we're talking 1 degree separation from prophecy, essentially. And Catherine is just there. She was just holding me down. She was keeping me grounded, to be honest. That earth energy, Catherine is keeping me there grounded. Like, she's my cousin, so she's like, she can't look at me, she can't call me crazy. She's my cousin, she can't call me crazy, but like, but she was seeing it though. She was seeing me call out stuff, and I almost crashed the car one time because I was like, "Raw, we just said that, and then look at that, boom, 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 boom." It was just this day that was just. Oh, sorry, my first ever video. So yeah, my first ever video that I ever do speaks about this. It's a 4-hour video, but we're talking about me having to explain 18 hours of something. So it's a 4-hour video. And I go into it like, this video for me is like my best ever video because it's just the most rawest. There was no agenda there. I just had to share this story. And so it's my first ever video on YouTube. You can just go look at it. So anyway, back to this now. Divine timing is everything. So like I said, I'm not someone that falls out with people. Catherine knows. I don't think she's ever seen me in an argument outside of me just bantering and just being loud. I'm a loud guy. So I've not fallen out for someone for 20 years. This guy basically, the person basically doesn't feel like I've assisted them. They don't feel like I supported them in a way that they would like. I can see their perspective, and I could only apologize so much because I am who I am. And so because I value peace, essentially I value peace more than justice. I live by my principles. It doesn't mean that I don't value justice. I'm just like, there's a weight in that, there's a balancing act, and the heaviness of peace, my prioritization of peace is prioritized over justice. You could say that's ego because you should say it should be in the moment, but definitely how I was reading the situation, for me, the peaceful way was the best way. And so I didn't support, essentially. I wasn't assisting to somebody else who disagreed with me. You know, we're men, it's cool. We don't have to agree. But this was a brother of mine. And then we get the splitting apart. We get the splitting apart. We get all these 3 in a row. Receptive, bro mine, as in a brother of mine, is splitting apart. We get this on the day for the first time in 20 years that I've had this kind of level of an argument, or this kind of level of a separation or disagreement. It's not even a disagreement, it's literally, I'm not even sure. We may never speak again, who knows? I can't tell the future, I'm open. but I'm telling you how it is now. And then we tapped into the center energy. We tap into the center energy, which is what? Friendly, power. So I was saying that I'm always going to choose peace, which is a friendly energy. It's a powerful energy, but it may not be seen as powerful. Sometimes it can be seen as what? An act of weakness. Don't take my what for weakness. Don't take my kindness for weakness. So, you know, quite honestly, I stood on my square though. It's like, I appreciate the value of the friendship, but again, you know, I appreciate the resonance of my energy. Like, my energy is my energy. If you're not comfortable with it, you're not comfortable with it. I can't really. I feel like maybe a year ago or 2 years ago, 3 years ago, maybe even 6 months ago, I myself may have played that out differently. But again, that King of Swords, look, you got the piece. I am the King of Swords, the past. The King of Swords. Sacred words. Essentially, the King of Swords is peaceful. He's got his sword, but I just I choose to use different weapons. And I'm saying that this other person, you know, is not really about the words, you know, as their armor, as their protection. Yeah, I don't want to get too personal, but like I just saw this as well. Break foot. This person has a broken foot. Probably started because of his foot. Something to do with his foot being broken, but yeah, I don't want to go into it too much. But like, this reading is crazy. But one of my key points to this reading was my ability to pivot. When I first saw the reading, I thought it was going to be one thing. But because I'm open to the moment, because I'm receptive to the moment, I then take it and see it for what it is. It shows me something else. It probably did. It could have also meant the other thing as well. It could have meant both things. It probably does mean both things. But it played out so clearly. It played out so clearly. And then we get the today's one. And in today's one, I just had to laugh. I just had to laugh because yesterday spoke about the confrontation and today spoke about myself. Like, so it still speaks to the confrontation. Again, you got one thing I don't really say about these codes is that they're programmed to mainly be positive. Like each, obviously there's a shadow to everything, so each one of these can be seen as like negative. But I've kind of rigged my own divination system on purpose because I'm a positive person. So most of the cards will say something positive. There's only a few negative cards that are quote unquote negative, like confrontation. And confrontation obviously doesn't need to be seen as negative. But obviously this whole thing escalated because of a confrontation. And so when I'm saying higher order, you don't have to read it as higher order. I actually don't even really read it as higher order. I see it as the external. So there was a confrontation in my environment, essentially. Wild. You get the wilding. There was a wild, unexpected confrontation in my environment, essentially. And this one was just a note of worthy in terms of like where I need to be. Sometimes you have to be the D of the God, which is to destroy matter. GOD, generator, operator, and destroyer. So you have to understand those times when it's time to let go of the ego or destroy the ego. I said that's a strong word, but we'll just use destroy with it. Sometimes you have to realize when to. And I don't mind destroying matter. I don't mind, because I know it will allow me to tap into deeper aspects of the mystery, the mystic. because my future is as a love healer. Because I'm not bitter about the situation. I'm just compassionate, quite honestly. Like, I always try and call for people to tap into their compassion. Let your heart be your guide. You can't spell compassion without passion. Compassion is a compass. Compassion. Compass. You can't spell compass with, so you can't spell compassion without compass. So again, let your passion, let your fire, let your divine spark be your guide in the darkness. That allows you to tap into your love healer energies. All right, cool. So how do I get this picture? All right. Yeah, we're sharing the screen. Don't worry about me. So I can take the phone anyway because we're sharing the screen. I'm just gonna have to come off of this for a second. I'm now gonna just share with you something that I think is mind-blowing. Yeah, so for the few people that are on the chat live, I'm gonna share something with you that's mind-blowing. Let's go. So how do I do this? Send it to myself. Yeah, it's easy. Leon Willoughby. All right, so yeah, as usual, we're pausing and stuff. So yeah, this will take me like 20 seconds to get up, if that, maybe less. All right, cool. I'm gonna share my screen now. Oh, in a sec. Let's get these pictures up. All right, so what I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna just show you some pictures. I'm gonna show you a picture of something that I've only ever revealed. Put the camera back up, so I don't need that no more. So yeah, I've only ever revealed this to in one video. And it was a video that I made private. It was like a masterclass. It was like a free, well, yeah, I always do 3 hour stuff now. So yeah, like a 3.5 hour masterclass where I basically showed my behind the scenes of like some of the magic tools that I'm into. Basically, I'm into magic. I'm into divination. I'm into this stuff. This is not just words. I'm into the practice of living a magical life, a lifestyle, a mystic. Living the life of a mystic. I don't know what to say. I don't know what words to put to it. Whatever words you can think of. Yeah. Shamanism can even use. All of that kind of stuff. My mind is there. And there's a few things that I have go-tos with. Yeah. So you have numbers. I use divination, obviously. I use numerology, you know, these kind of tools, basically. These tools are based on me throwing numbers. So it's based on the 576. I only get the symbols, so I only get the words once I throw the number dice. So I'm really using numbers to reveal the message. So each number obviously is attached to a code, i.e. the ones that you're seeing, you know, on the screen, or the ones that you were seeing on the screen. And yeah, let me take that off actually, sorry. Yeah, so the ones that you were seeing on the screen. And so I basically, so then you see you got words. Then obviously words, I break down words. Like clearly you guys see me break down words practically all the time, or, you know, often we break down words, etymology, you know, all of this good stuff. But then symbols, we do something a bit different. So symbols, you have symbology. Obviously you'd have symbology, which would obviously be in the same level of like numerology and then etymology or numerology. But I basically do this thing called water divination. So this is something I've only ever revealed once, like in terms of public. Well, it didn't go public, like I said, it was a private video. But basically I do water divining. And so I use water, I work with water. I'm into water basically, I'm into water science heavily. I've got my own water machine, which is a custom machine that does custom stuff. I essentially make holy water. I'm into water science from a science perspective, from a metaphysical, whatever you can think of around water, I'm into. So, like, again, I said today is about more of a show and prove. This is a show and prove today. So this is the water that I made this morning. Took me like half an hour to make this water, you know, using my processes. I didn't do the full processes. I did my simple process, which has about 10 processes in it. So there's 10 different things that I do to allow the water to be as pure as it can be, so it can tap into its own magic. Water is already magic. So again, I've never healed anyone in my life. I just open up or point to certain gateways that allows their body to do their own healing. Yeah, this is key. It's the same with the water. I basically just create a space for the water to express itself. And it can express itself in many different ways. Why? Because it is multidimensional. It taps into what? The hydrogen, which is the first element. That is the God, because it's the first. We're talking about first cause. So that would be the God of matter, would be hydrogen. And it taps into the what? Oxygen, the spirit. Breath means spirit. So you've got God, the spirit of breath. You've got God's breath is materialized and symbolized, and more than just symbolized. The energy, there's some essence here, there's some residue in water. So I'm into water science. Let's just say that I'm heavy into water science. And so shout out to the water. And so yeah, let me share these images. All right. Share, lap share. All right, look at that. Even that now I'm realizing is nuts. The way the universe works is the universe is simple. It will always focus on simplicity and then build out from there, build out complexity from there. But it wants to build on solid foundations. And those solid foundations are simple. So the first shape is a circle. It is the most perfect. It is the first perfect shape because it has no sides. So it is 360. There is an evenness. There's a wholeness to the circle. Circles are also ideas. Yeah. All ideas or thought forms you could see as a circle. And in this third dimension, that would be a sphere, which is most represented in a what? Bubble. Water science now. So this is not a promotion on my water. Like literally, I almost don't even like selling the water because it takes me so long. I don't really charge enough for it. Like literally, it takes me a long time to produce this water, and I have to be in a certain mind state in order to produce water at this level. So essentially, you can just look into something called cavitation. You can just do this in your own time. You can look into something called cavitation, and cavitation is cavitation is essentially bubbles being a cleaning agent. Is bubbles as a cleaning agent. Your suds, your washing machine, bubbles, they're cleaning agents, cleansing, health. Yes, all relates. Bubbles also what? Rise to the top. So we're trying to be high vibration, and I'm saying that you can change your shape, your form. Form equals function. You want to be whole. That whole allows you to be a circle or a sphere or a sun, a mini sun, a mini star, a minister, administer your own life. It would mean you'd be whole. Yeah, check the science. Don't forget the science. The words tell you everything. And then you're able to what? Rise to the top. just from changing your frequency into a sphere. And so I'm saying that basically these bubbles represent energy potential. The more bubbles, the more energy potential. Like I have images, like I do water tests, water science. This is what I do, divination, but then I also do science. So if anyone wants to know how it looks like, just put it in the chat if you want me to show you what tap water looks like. If you want me to show you what bottled water looks like. Normal bottled water that you'd buy from your shop. Like water that costs money basically. And I'll show you the difference. You're not seeing nothing like this. Like you're not seeing anything like this. What was interesting is that this water represented myself, and there was a crack. Quite interesting, there's a crack in my piece because this water is still mad peaceful, but there's a mad crack in it. And at the time I did, again, this is only reflection stuff, I didn't think anything of it. But there's just one like earthquake level crack around my center, almost like on the periphery of my center. I think even there is a line there, it actually goes through my center. You know, if that represented my body, an island, again, water and ice is the same thing, but this would represent the body, this would represent the island. This circle white space around here represents, not even represents, this stuff is like alchemy. What I'm talking about now is basically alchemy. The island, this here represents the negative space, the, how to explain it, ether. Let's just say that this represents the outer rim of the ether, and then underneath this island is its center space of ether. Let's just keep it like that. I don't know if anyone understands that. You understand. If you don't understand, it's like this wasn't electron water science. So anyway, I go into the water basically. So I'm doing water divine. I'm back on my water divine. I don't do it all the time because I just don't do it all the time. But I'm back on it now. Now that I'm doing my journaling, I'm back on it. I'm like, so I've been hitting peak levels of meditation recently, to my level. Again, it's all relative. I've been hitting peak levels of meditation, and then I couldn't do my meditation today because this confrontation was on my mind. Like, you know, it's a good friend of mine, so on and so forth. So that person's on my mind, and what I did is I allowed myself to just sit in that space. I didn't force it and be like, I just allowed myself to be in that space. It wasn't a problem. It's fine. I've got many days of meditation. And so I'm making my water, and then I basically have now decided to make 2 waters. So this is, I've now decided to make 2 waters. Like this is a new thing that I did from yesterday. This was like the first example of it, maybe the second example of it. I make a version of the water when it's in its like raw form, once I've like done all my, let's say, quote unquote magic alchemy. And then I do, I put my energy back into the water. So I put my energy back onto the water. And then basically I say, show me a sign, show me something about myself. I don't know what I say because I say different things each time, but it's essentially show me my energy. Show me my energy is essentially, I'm having a conversation with the water. I'm putting my energy into the water. Yeah, just be clear, this is what I'm talking about when I'm talking about synchronicity. Because I'm really just talking about building relationships, which is the bigger point. Synchronicity is just a smaller, is a subcategory or a sub attribute, or is an attribute of the principle of relationship building. Yeah. And so anyway, I popped that in, and then look at what happened. Please tell me someone can see this. I know the chat's a little bit behind, so I want to see if people have the eyes. Set, resize, can you flip? Edit. Flip. All right. Save as copy. Yeah, I don't want to save over it. Leave me alone, people. Leave me alone, leave me alone. pictures. All right, yeah, there you go. I've turned it around now. I need to get better at that. Does that quicker? Can you see that? I had to show my wife this to just like, because again, I didn't even say nothing. I was like, Sai. Can you see the line in the middle? Can you see that line in the middle? You see the dip? You see that there? You see that there? The water has messages, people. Are you realizing what's happening here? The water has messages. The water is speaking. The water, everything is communicating. Did I not say everything is live? Everything is communicating. I've just given it the space to breathe, to allow for that communication to happen. I'm passionate about water. This worked the first time I ever did it. The first time, this is what I'm trying to say in terms of like, it's hard to not speak from ego, but I would say all words are ego, so I don't have a problem with it. I like using words. It's not, I don't have a problem with it. But I'm essentially saying that there's certain things that I'll do it for the first time, and I'll tap into it at a level that people doing it for many years tap into. And so I've tapped into this water divination thing first time ever. This ain't the first time I ever did it, but the first time I ever did it, I got results. I got results straight away, like mind blowing. I would say this is up there in terms of mind blowing. I say that I can show you a couple of other pictures. Oh, I can show you what, again, if someone wants to know what tap water looks like, what they're drinking with that tap water, let me know. But look at that. The heart. A broken heart. Now, transformation is what? In the now. Transformation is what? Let me repeat it at the back. In the now. So I basically put my energy into this. Wasn't the water I put my energy into, by the way. This was the water that I had made using my 10 or so techniques. I was keeping it pretty simple. 10 or so techniques. I have about 15 techniques, and I want to introduce about 3 or 4 more. Oh no, it was about 11 techniques. I introduced 2 new ones actually. I introduced 2 new techniques, but yeah, there's a couple more. I'm just warming up with this stuff. But I then put my energy into the water for only 30 seconds. No more than 30 seconds. I put my energy into another sample. So I've got 2 samples. Like I said, I'm starting to do 2 samples now. So this is the one that was raw, in its raw state. Yeah. In its raw state. We then go, did you change the image now? Oh yeah, it's a different app, isn't it? Yeah. This is it in its raw. I then put my energy over it. Oh my days, I just seen it now. Yo, I just saw something else. I just saw something else. I've got to analyze this one. I got to shut up. Like, I ain't even gonna lie. Like, I feel like I see something, but I can't draw it to you. I just feel like there's an image here, but I need to look deeper. Like, I need to look deeper. And I'll hint at it with the other one, because the other one I didn't even mention it as well. But basically, you can now see. At first, I feel like I can see a heart, but I'm not sure. But I see this line here. I see the darkest line going here, and then you've got this darkness going here, like the island. So this would be like the center of the energy. This would be like the center of the energy. I've done this before now. So you could see like, all right, I'll tell you what I'm seeing a little bit. I'm seeing like a mythical, it's kind of like a mythical bird. Like, or like a head, like this is the head here. I'm reaching a little bit because I don't see it fully. But like these are like, it's just the edges here. And then there, look, you see the triangle would represent the bottom. Or maybe if I flipped it upside down, I kind of need, sometimes you need to play about with this stuff, like in terms of like just turning it upside down and stuff. But that is no mistake. This thing here, this diamond here is no mistake. It's basically saying that the energy that I was able to resonate into it was a diamond. It's a clear diamond. It's a clear diamond. Like that one here is clear. And I didn't see that. I only just saw this now. Because I just thought, oh, I was cleaning my energy. I went from a broken heart to putting my energy back into it 30 seconds. It was just telling the story of a broken heart. Like I was upset and sad. And then we've now put our energy in it here. So, please tell me I didn't get rid of it. Did I get rid of it or just close it? Oh, no, but I can get up again. Yeah, I can get up again. Let me just show you something quickly. So, one of the things I didn't say that I noticed, which was the most mind-blowing thing I saw after, because I saw the heart straight away. The heart was like, I was in a rush this morning. Like, obviously, I'm always in a rush. So I saw the heart and I was like, I'll look at it later. I literally didn't even have time to look at it properly. Okay, cool. Yeah, we've got it the right way around. Look at that. All right. So, for example, I'm just going to say it because I'm not going to get the picture because, again, this is not a water divination thing. But basically, I've seen something like this before. So I do, I make some holy water. Someone buys some water from me and I'm taking pictures. I always take pictures of my water to just show them certain things around themselves. So I take a picture of this water for this client and I'm like, oh, I can't see nothing. I was like, oh, I was almost disappointed compared to like some of the other shapes and stuff I've seen. I was almost disappointed because I can't really see much. All I can see is this, work out this pattern. She's like, shut up. Are you joking? She was like, I got a mad birthmark. That's the exact shape of my birthmark. It's a weird shape. It's like a weird shape. But she was like, that's the exact shape of my birthmark in the water. So I'm not saying this is a birthmark, but I'm saying that this, when you get a shape like that, like almost like a perfect pentagon, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then when I was seeing the triple ones, yeah. Look at that. 1, 2, 3. I can't really, I'm not trying to make this a science episode, but it's getting a bit like thing. But I'm basically saying bubbles are the key to tapping into ether from an energetic perspective. It would be the perfect representation of getting something from nothing. So whether the free energy stuff gets released in my lifetime, I'm not sure, because people, they may suppress it, but the principles around free energy are known. They've been known for at least 100 years. And I'm saying that in the technology of the future is this recycling of energy from the ether, tapping into the ether space to recycle and create new energies. This is literally the alchemist's dream. This is alchemy, but from a science perspective, but in real life, like scientists basically doing alchemy or performing what people would be perceiving as alchemy, creating something, turning something into something, transmuting lead into gold. And I'm saying that this shape here is spitting out this. Or you could look at it the other way around. But I'm telling you that I've basically seen this in action. I've seen pictures of there only being iron in something, and then because of how they were able to manipulate the space, the geometry, they're using sacred geometry plus actual science. You can just check out something. I'll just tell you the science. It's called low energy nuclear reactions. It's a nuclear reaction, nuclear fusion. Like, I'm even into that stuff, like nuclear fusion. But like, obviously, I studied from a metaphysics perspective. I'm not a physicist. And I'm saying that I've seen pictures, which is being produced only over the last couple of years, a bit more, but like it's now coming out. And you see basically there only being aluminium, and then the next minute they put it in a machine, and next minute there's gold. There's other elements. And I'm saying that that's what's happening in this process. And this is the representation of the triple one that I've been seeing when I was talking about the triple darkness, of which is a creation, which is basically the creation story. Coming from what? A 5-pointed star, which everyone knows in magic that is creation. Or a portal. 5 is a portal to dimensions. So yeah, this stuff is real, people. Like, this stuff is real. So I didn't even show that document. But yeah, I've definitely done one of the things I wanted to do, which is just show you synchronicity live in the flesh. Because this video really could have been titled, I'm not sure, I may change it. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with the title if I'll go with this one, you know, when we go live. But this video is about synchronistic living. So I'm basically saying that I'm showing you a live example, just using myself, because I know myself better than anyone. And this is a quest to know thyself. So why not use myself as examples? I don't really use other people as examples. I don't really know them that well. I know the subtleties, because these synchronicities, these things, when you get the chills on the back of your spine, they have to be experienced. And so I can speak of other people's stories, but like, I'm living my life. I'm trying to provoke you to create your own story. That's all I'm really trying to do. I'm trying to inspire you to create your own story. And I'm just saying, look, this is how I do it. Also, if you want to copy and paste it, you know, subscribe, follow, you know, we're there basically. You know, I'm here to support, I'm here to help. I do life coaching, I do readings, all of that good stuff. Holy water, why not? So it is never the tools, it's never the synchronistic moments, it is always the man. It is the cultivation of soul, or the transcendence that taps into the soul. It's argued that the soul doesn't need cultivation. It is already, quote unquote, a perfect bubble. It is already perfect. It's already whole. This illusion of separation is just you trying to tap into it, to link back, to connect back. Synchronicity being a tool of connection. But there's other wider tools that synchronicity needs to play into to make sure that it becomes a lived experience. I can't stress this enough. Hopefully I'm getting bored with this stuff. Hopefully it's there. It needs to be a lived experience. Otherwise you're just reading a dead book. You're eating dead flesh. You're feeding, you're getting nourished from dead flesh, because you're not enlivening it with spirit. And so yeah, I'm going to look through my notes, but I don't really feel the need to extend this much further. I feel like I've done what I needed to do. I don't need to go through this 10,000 word workbook that I've created. Like, I just don't think it's necessary. I'm just literally scrolling through it now. Yeah, yeah. No, I'm not gonna go through it. It's too my world stuff. Um, so yeah, what I mean by my world stuff is it's all based on my app and my diviner tools and my calendar, all of this stuff. So I mean, I'll show it to you for a few seconds just to like whet your appetite, just to see, just so you can see what I'm talking about. Again, you can email me, you can reach out to me, check my link in the description. I always put the Linktree app in. You can get a free reading for 10 minutes or 15 minutes. I can't remember what I say, 15-minute taster. You know, if anyone quotes, I don't know, puts uh if anyone puts sends me an email with uh build, I'll give them a half an hour reading for free. If anyone watches this video, like, you know, I don't mind. I'm looking to build basically. I'm looking to build. So I'm not saying that with my challenge. My channel is at millions. So yeah, but that's one time only. Because check when this video goes live. I'll extend that. I'll just extend it for a few days. It's what I'm looking to do. So I'm not looking to tease people. Essentially, I actually want to work with people. I'm looking for clients. All of that good stuff. I'm always open for business. And so yeah, we've got the. I'll just show it to you quickly, but I'm not going to spend too long because, like I said, my video before did drop this, but just whilst I got 3 people live and a few people live, I'll just show it to them really quickly. Just I don't expect everyone to watch videos. Just save you time going through any other videos. Where are you? Where are you? You're there. I think that's you in it. Yeah, I think this is it. All right, I'll show you the nicer presented one without the Excel sheets, because the Excel sheets are very boring to look at. Most people like aesthetics and stuff. So I'm going to show you another example of how I use synchronicity to tap into my true self, to tap into and allow expressions of the soul, allow expressions of the divine. So yeah, let's do that. All right. All right, cool. So yeah, this will be the last thing before we bounce. All right, so yeah, this is the reading that I did. This is another one, but essentially, if you follow me on social media, then this is what I should be doing on social media. I should be doing this every day, but sometimes I just get too excited, so I'll just live my life and I'm just enjoying my life so much I forget to post on social media. But literally, I had this prepared and I didn't even post it. It would have taken me 5 minutes to post this, and I just didn't get around to it. But essentially, this was my reading. I'm not going to go through what this reading is because, yeah, now it's not the time. I kind of gave you a lot of insights a little bit before. There you go. All right, cool. Get there in a second. So yeah, this is my calendar. So yeah, this is the multi-divination calendar that I have that goes into, I think I counted it the other day, 23 different systems of information to interpret the day. So we are multi-dimensional beings. We should be multi-dimensional in mind. And so this allows me to read many rhythms. I'm saying that basically pattern recognition is everything. And because I don't want to be dictated by the days, I don't want to be ruled by the days. So I don't want to only have Friday in my cipher of imagination when I'm thinking about the day. So because I don't just want Venus, so basically if you say Venus, you're basically worshipping the god or you're honoring Venus. So if that's okay for you, that's fine. But I'm like, we are way more multi-dimensional and I don't want to be idolizing a single thing. And so this is not about idolization then. This just becomes about recognition of many rhythms and many patterns. And the fact that I can choose to tap into because of my resonant frequency with many different waves. So this is essentially me creating 23 different waves that I can catch for the day. So I'm giving myself more opportunities to catch fish. If you think about waves and water and ocean, I'm giving myself, I'm saying like there's plenty of fish in the sea. But if you're only working from one divination system or one calendar system, you're essentially, you basically become a slave to it. It's hard not to become a slave to the days when it's only one thing, because now you're idolizing, you're worshiping just one thing. And days means deity, by the way, just to be clear. You can't get away from it. Anytime you say days, you're saying deity. Days equals deity. There's no, the root is the same word. And so, yeah, the quality of time bonds your body. The quality of dimensions is your liberation. And so, yeah, we tap into dimensions, we get quality. So again, it's not about explaining this. My other video did this. This obviously is what I've showed you, where I tap into the 5 elements. And then as a creator, I then create words. So then I create affirmations and words of power that then become symbolic references for my day or for other people's days. Obviously, I post this, you know, on my channel when I'm not being lazy. So, and I color code it based on the 5 elements. So again, I break down the, oh yeah, that's it. That's what the last video was about. The last video, I break down the whole science of how I do all of this from start to finish. Like you just see me just do it live in the flesh, basically. So that's what the last video was that I did on Sunday, I think. So fractaling of the indivisible. One reflects integrity, holding together joy, ease in the mastery of self as all, and all as self-mastery. That's a nice one. I enjoy that. And then you see me show the cards, and then this is reflected in here. And that was on the day when there was a quadruple one. So but that was a while ago. So yeah, we're about to wrap up now. So like, I've shown you the process of synchronization. Hopefully you are able to take away some nuggets around how you, why synchronization, or why synchronicity. Hopefully we're able to take away some nuggets of why synchronicity is one of the most powerful tools for us tapping back into the one, because we're able to understand the illusion of separation and then connect it back to its prime source, which is one. And then from that prime source, we then create from. So it's like this breath. It's like an in and out breath. It's a decoding and then a what? Encoding. So life is also the relationship of decoding and encoding. And I'm saying most of us, we just tap into the decoding, especially if you're into like conspiracy theories and stuff, and working how the world goes. You're just decoding all the time, but where are you actually imprinting? Where are you actually encoding your own codes, your own symbols, you know? And so hopefully this is a video that inspires you to do that seriously. And if you are looking for more help and guidance, then hit the subscribe, hit the like, because this channel is going to levels on this stuff. So yeah, peace. that's a peace out. Hope everyone enjoys the night. 10:03, we enjoy that as a time as well. So yeah, this early time's working well for me. So yeah, we'll be back next week, 7:30, and Sunday as well. I'll drop a video which won't be live, but yeah, in terms of live, that will be next week, Thursday. So yeah, peace and love above everything. All right.